To Nationwide, reaching you live from our network studio here in Abuja. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. Thanks for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo have been vaccinated against COVID-19 at the presidential villa in demonstration of leadership and faith in the exercise. President Buhari and Vice President Osinbajo took their first jabs of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which arrived the country last Tuesday. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the report.
Using a penless narrow-gauge syringe, Chief Personal Physician to President Muhammadu Buhari, Dr. Suhaib Sanusi Rafindadi, administered the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine on the Nigerian leader. This could best be described as a symbolic confirmation of the safety and efficacy of the vaccine, as well as a demonstration of faith in the vaccination exercise. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was also vaccinated by his personal physician, Dr. Nicholas Auduferen. Both leaders were presented their e-vaccination cards by the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib.
Your Excellency, this vaccine is safe. The after effects, as we know so far, are mild. But on the whole, there is no untoward adverse effect that's associated with this vaccine, and it has been certified safe and usable by NAFDAC.
President Muhammadu Buhari described COVID-19, which resulted in over 2.5 million fatalities and destroying several national and global systems, as an unseen but very potent enemy around the world. The speedy development of the vaccine, he said, is not only significant but underscores the collective resolve of humanity to overcome the pandemic. Having been vaccinated as a demonstration of leadership, the president made a strong case for Nigerians to do same so as to be protected from the deadly virus.
The vaccine offers hope for a safe country free of coronavirus. I urge all state governments, traditional and religious leaders to take the lead in the mobilization effort within their environment and spheres of influence. I similarly urge all eligible Nigerians to present themselves and be vaccinated in accordance with the order of priority already mapped out at the various authorized designated centers only.
While congratulating the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 on the successful multi-sectoral approach to the management of the pandemic, the President acknowledged the support of development partners and other critical stakeholders for supporting Nigeria thus far, promising that the resources provided will be equitably administered.
The response in Nigeria and ECOWAS sub-region has been robust, collaborative, and united. It was driven by a collective knowledge of the fact that no country is safe until every country is safe.
PTF Chairman and Secretary to Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, attributed the event, which he described as memorable and remarkable, to the leadership qualities provided by President Muhammadu Buhari in the national response to COVID-19.
I think vaccine hesitancy would have to give way now to the reality. Our most strategic leadership have received them this morning. They are safe, they are efficacious, and it is for the good and well-being of our people.
Nigeria, which took delivery of 3.92 million doses of AstraZeneca vaccine on Tuesday and expects to receive 84 million doses before the year runs out, is aiming to vaccinate 40% of its population this year and a further 30% in 2022. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTAi News.
Meanwhile, the presidency, in response to media inquiries, says there was no side effects on President Buhari after COVID-19 vaccination. The presidency says the president felt normal and went about doing his job after he got his jab, dispelling fears and misconceptions about the safety of the vaccine administered on the President and Vice President Yemi Osinbajo on Saturday. There is nothing of a side effect, serious or mild, on the President. The statement by Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says. In another development, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has confirmed 195 new cases of COVID-19 in the country. States with new cases include Lagos 70, Kaduna 22, Abuja 20, Edo 18, Kano 10, Akwa Ibom 9, Rivers 7, FCT 7, Borno 6, Bauchi 5, Osun 5, Oyo has 5 cases as well, Plateau 3, Ekiti 3, Niger 2, Ogun 2 and Zamfara 1. Total confirmed cases of COVID-19 in the country is now 158,237, while 137,645 have been discharged and 1,964 deaths recorded, unfortunately. The task of building a society desired by all Nigerians is exerting and requires the contribution of all Nigerians, as the challenge is for everyone is to build, not to destroy, to add, and not to take away. These are the words of Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at the opening session of an international conference on patriotism, security, governance and national development. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Speaking on the need for citizens to unite in building a better society, Vice President Osinbajo says the task of nation building is exerting and to even appear messy as the process continues, especially in a multi-ethnic and multi-religious nation like Nigeria.
Rather than turning on each other, we should be banding together against our common enemies, the criminal elements whose true tribe is terror and whose only creed is criminality. The truth of the matter is that there are far more of us and far more Nigerians who are interested in ensuring that this country remains one, and that this country, that we give ourselves a fair chance of working together.
The Vice President also restates his advocacy for the decentralization of the police force.
On his own part, the Nigeria Police is putting a new impetus behind community policing, and this is already being implemented across the states of the Federation. But we must accept that there is a need for greater decentralization of our police force. And I, of course, have been a frequent advocate of state policing, and I believe very seriously that this is ultimately the way we must go.
On steps taken to address the perennial crisis between farmers and herders, the Vice President said the federal and state governments are committed to the implementation of the National Livestock Transformation Plan as developed by consensus of governors under the auspices of the National Economic Council. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NTAi News.
Matters, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, has approved appointment of new General Officers Commanding, Principal Staff Officers, Commandants of military institutions and Corps Commanders of units and formations of the Nigerian Army. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Muhammad Yerima, says the appointment and redeployment is a normal routine aimed at reinvigorating the system. Major highlights of the appointments include the appointment of Major General S.A. Yaro as the Commandant of Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna and Major General R.J.J. Ogunlade as the new Force Commander of the Multinational Joint Task Force in N'Djamena, Chad. All appointments take effect from March 10, 2021. Stakeholders in security matters in the South-South geopolitical zone of the country have aligned with the federal government's desire of establishing community policing. The stakeholders made their position known at a sensitization in Benin aimed at educating the public on community policing. Goodluck Enaini reports.
It is in view of finding solution to the security challenges in the country that led to the clamor of community policing by the citizenry. Now that the federal government has given its approval, there is the need to educate the citizenry on what the framework will look like, as well as their roles in the process. The Inspector General of Police, Abubakar Adamu, represented by the AIG Zone 6, Zaki Ahmed, said the need for community policing is necessitated by the current realities.
This partnership is aimed at bringing policing to the grassroots and the involvement of all to take ownership and participation of the very instrument of safety and security which affects all strata of the society.
Governor Obaseki, who was represented by the Deputy Philip Shaibu, sued for effective collaboration among stakeholders.
It's when we strengthen institutions that will solve our problem halfway. If you don't strengthen institutions, then everything you build is going to crash.
Though the stakeholders are happy with the initiative, they also express some reservations.
There should be recruitment of more policemen.
We should not allow it in the hands of our political leaders.
The community sits up to work towards the common good. We can minimize the rate of crimes.
Coming together, we made them to identify the problem in the society.
The sensitization in the South-South geopolitical zone concludes the series of meetings which started on the 26th of January in Abuja. In Benin, good luck in NT News.
Lagos is our first port of call on Nationwide, and Dotun is ready with latest reports from that zone. Hello, Dotun, it's over to you.
Thank you, Ayodeji. The Senate has fixed a timeline of 2 months for the passage of all bills related to the aviation sector. While on an oversight visit to the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos, the Senate Committee on Aviation said this is part of renewed vigor to support any initiative that will make the industry safer and boost confidence of investors. Michael Olaleye reports that the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria also made a case for the suspension of its 15% remittance into the Federation account.
Despite weathering the storm of COVID-19, the sky is still gloomy for the aviation industry. In spite of the challenging time, remodeling of the 21 airports across the country, completion of a new terminal in Kano, the almost completed new terminal at the Lagos airport, and the reconstruction of the runway at Enugu are some of the interventions reawakening the hope of returning to normal. But the reality here is that the industry is in dire need of government support for post-COVID-19 stabilization.
This can be achieved by suspending the contribution to the Federation account in compliance with the ICAO standards and recommended practices, as spelled out in Document 9562 on airport revenue generation, which provides that revenue generated by airports should be transparently reinvested wholly in operating and developing airport facilities.
Consenting to funds request, the lawmakers explained that this is a matter of constitutional provision, but that within its mandate, the Senate is exploring legislative instruments to make the industry competitive globally.
We thank God that COVID is now being checked globally, so we expect a more robust atmosphere for business and enterprise globally. In essence, there will be more activities in the airports globally than what we had last year. What that we demand from us is that our oversight function will be more regular this year.
Aviation is all about safety. Pertinent to the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority presently is the passage of the Civil Aviation Act as amended, based on the new mandate and embedded rules it will give to the agency. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
As part of its infrastructure investment efforts aimed at promoting economic development and enhancing travel time across the metropolis, Lagos State Government has commissioned a 1.4-kilometer dual carriageway flyover in Pen Cinema Access in Agege local government area of the state. Musa Toliat has details.
Cinema intersection in Agege is one of the busiest in Lagos due to its linkage with 5 major routes, including Abule Egba, Ogba, Agege Oja, Iyanekpaja and Iju. The fusion of the routes into Agege therefore created an unprecedented gridlock and loss of man-hours, which motorists have had to grapple with over the years.
One of the most critical challenges that residents in this area used to have around Agege Pen Cinema axis was on a daily basis the traffic gridlock that has been part of the living in this area for years. And today, 648 days after, we have completed 100% and we're handing it over to the good people of Agege and all of his environs.
National leader of the All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, used the occasion to canvass for peaceful coexistence among Nigerians.
There is no development if there is no peace. We must embrace peace to have development.
The 1.4-kilometer Agege Pen Cinema Bridge spans across the intersections of Old Abeokuta Road and Iju-Shaga Road, with a ramp to enhance vehicular movement towards Abule Egba and its environs. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTAi News.
The Lagos State government has signed an agreement with a Chinese automobile company to establish a world-class vehicle assembly plant in Lagos before the end of next year. Musa Toliat reports that the climatic moment of the brief ceremony was the flag-off of a new taxi scheme to provide jobs for the teeming youth population in the state.
Official joint venture signing between Lagos State government and Chinese automobile company sets the tone for the commencement of a symbiotic relationship which will roll out 1,000 new Lagos taxi in the next 6 months. Under the new Lagos State taxi service structured along a profitability model, operators will be given the cars on hire purchase for a period of 4 years before taking ownership.
We know that we currently have a taxi scheme. We know that there are several hauling companies, but the minimum government can do is to create an enabling environment where a lot more can come in and people can have choices.
The taxi scheme partnership with the automobile company also includes the establishment of a world-class motor assembly plant in Lagos for the production of different classes of vehicles in 18 months.
The establishment of the motor assembly plant is expected to revive industrialization, increase citizens' employment, and create wealth for us. It will certainly boost tourism, it will encourage technology sharing, adaptation, and advancement within our citizens.
The Lagos Ride Taxi Scheme is embedded in the theme agenda of Babajide Sanwo-Olu administration, geared towards poverty eradication and job creation in Lagos State. In Lagos, Musa Toliad, NTAi News.
And that's it from here. Let's now take a break. Nationwide continues shortly.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher Yomo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher Yomo, a fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kaduna. We no happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. Hey, we are trying, shall. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I talk with that now.
Not for me.
You want make I die?
Not for me because of Pamio.
for fire, no be peace, talk conquest. You know, any good I know, we're for a abolition.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTAi International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTAi International, Africa's window to the world.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather we ball, we hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time. Showing on NTAi Network every Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
You're welcome back. The leadership of the National Boundary Commission has resolved to initiate best practices and strategies in tackling internal boundary disputes in Nigeria's southwest zone for peaceful coexistence. This was the outcome of a two-day interactive session by the Commission held in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital.
The interactive session had in attendance deputy governors and members of the boundary committees of the states in the southwest geopolitical zone of the country. The Director General National Boundary Commission, Adamu Adaji, says the session is to engage stakeholders from the 6 states in the southwest in mapping out acceptable approach to resolve cases of internal boundary disputes in the zone for peace to thrive across the country.
The federal government had calls to establish the National Boundary Commission as a specialized border problem-solving institution to address the shortcomings of the previous ad hoc commissions. The states were also requested to constitute states and local government boundary committees to complement the works of the National Boundary Commission.
Ogun State Governor Dr. Abiodun expressed readiness of his government in sustaining the existing relationship between the states and the federal government with a view to mitigating boundary conflicts to evolve meaningful developments in the country.
We have just state of establishing a Lagos Joint Development Commission. This commission, when it becomes operational, will optimize the shared value of the nation to both in the select states and Ogun and Lagos, with the aim of managing the overflow and diversity of development from Lagos to Ogun State.
Representatives of the 6 states in the southwest agreed to work with the National Boundary Commission in its efforts at promoting trans-boundary cooperation.
The Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has organized a seminar towards ensuring sustainable, peaceful coexistence between farmers and herdsmen and other stakeholders in agricultural sector in Oshogbo. Femi Afariogun reports.
Program of NSCDC is designed to protect farmers and their investments from attacks by criminals. This is why the NSCDC Osun Command brought together farmers, herdsmen, and stakeholders as part of strategies to minimize the incessant farmers-herdsmen clashes.
It's always better to discuss and dialogue and resolve issues on the round table than to destroy lives and properties. That is what we are encouraging.
From 2014 till date, over 8,000 farmers' herdsmen crises have been settled amicably by Osun State government as the state seeks a more sustainable peace.
The media must also become more circumspect and avoid being used by the enemies of our country to divide rather than unite us. Therefore, it is incumbent on us to do all that is within our powers to build enduring peace.
The body language of the leaders of the farmers and herdsmen is that of peaceful coexistence.
We are only looking at the young boys. They are not the owner of the cows. The cow belongs to all these people, all these obas and chiefs. So if they can advise them to control the cows in their domain, to not go extra miles to destroy other people's farm.
The kind of problem that's having in other states, it is not happening in Osun State. Because the government has people that have been taking care of between farmers and cattle rearers.
The Agro Ranger Department promised to continue preaching peace to all parties while ensuring adequate protection of farmers. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTAi News.
In another development, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has impounded a truck carrying suspected illegally refined automotive gas oil and 3 suspects arrested in Akwa Ibom State. Kelvin Samuel reports that the truck, which was physically seen with sand inside and said to be conveying them to sites upon scrutiny, was discovered to be fully loaded with 60 sand bags containing AGO.
The truck, which was said to have been loaded at her holder, was flagged down by personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps on duty at the border between Akwa Ibom and Rivers State. Suspecting a foul play, the NSCDC officer who spotted a leakage by the side of the vehicle insisted to do a thorough check, where it was discovered that beneath the sand are 60 bags of suspected illegally refined automotive gas oil. A situation the Commandant NSCDC Akwa Ibom State Command, Samuel Fadeyi, says has adversely affected the nation's economy and warned perpetrators to desist or be ready to face the law.
I have also directed that my men in the field, particularly in the border posts, to be very alert to some of these intrigues of these criminals, so that Akwa Ibom must remain safe. And indeed, Nigeria must remain safe. I would implore the members of the public to also be vigilant.
The truck, its content, and 3 suspects have been taken into custody by the NSCDC Akwa Ibom State Command for further investigation and possible prosecution. In Uyo, Kevin Samuel, NTAi News.
President Muhammadu Buhari celebrates the resourcefulness and resilience of City People magazine as it marks 25 years on the newsstand. Congratulating the publisher, Mr. Sheye Kehinde, the staff and management of the magazine, as well as the media industry in general, the president notes that attaining quarter of a century is a remarkable milestone, particularly in an industry faced with stiff mortality challenges. President Buhari encourages the celebrity journalism genre, which City People is a market leader, to ensure that facts remain sacred and to celebrate all that is noble, decent and inspiring in Nigeria's national life. In a statement by his media advisor, Femi Adesina, President Buhari wishes the magazine and the moving spirits behind it greater successes in the decades ahead. Frama is in our Jos Network Center and she has the next set of reports.
Glad to have you join us in Jos. People of Wase Federal Constituency in Plateau State have passed a vote of confidence on the Deputy Speaker, House of Representatives, Ahmed Idris Wase, for quality leadership. This came to the fore at the 2021 empowerment and presentation of farm implements to more than 2,000 women and youths, communities and various organizations in his constituency. Abba Abubakar Yakubu witnessed the distribution and now reports.
Items distributed include tractors, 3-wheeler tricycles, motorcycles, rice millers, maize thrashers, hand sprayers, grinding and sewing machines.
And we appreciate on what he is trying to give us here.
We are from Wase, we appreciate, and then by God's grace, and next time we vote him again.
The Deputy Speaker represented reassured members of the constituency that his empowerment projects will no doubt touch the lives of everyone, regardless of religious or ethnic differences.
Most people who are using hoes to cultivate their lands were opportune to have tractors. Therefore, there is an excessive increase in the level of production vis-a-vis the level of output in the farms.
Chairman Committee of Empowerment and Distribution, Musa Abdullahi Yalun, explains that the items were provided to boost agricultural activities following the availability of fertile soil and the people's interest in agriculture.
This is not the first time of these items being distributed within this local government area. We've started since 2007.
Plateau State Governor, Speaker, State House of Assembly, and Senator representing Southern Senatorial District were represented. They urged people of the area to continue to support government policies and programs to enable them to enjoy more dividends of democracy. Representative of the Deputy Speaker and his aides later inspected some ongoing developmental projects as approved by the federal government across the constituency. From Usher, Wasa local government area, Abba Abubakar Yakubu, NTAi News.
Jos University Teaching Hospital Comprehensive Health Center Gindri is offering free treatment to patients with ear, neck, and throat infections. Rinred Silvanus Lot reports.
According to the World Health Organization, 1.5 billion people are already living with some degree of hearing loss, a situation that specialists say is unacceptable since the condition can be prevented by proper ear care practices. To raise awareness, especially in the rural areas, about the condition, medical personnel from JUTH are sensitizing students on the importance of ear and how to avoid harmful practices people ignorantly engage in. A number of patients were examined and treated for various ear infections, both from the community and the schools.
There's a high burden of diseases in the rural areas, and because of poverty, some of these patients may not be able to have access to health care that is available in the town.
What are the challenges of the hearing impaired? He cannot get employed. He cannot integrate socially. Academically, he is disadvantaged. The target is that we want to reduce this burden.
I haven't cleaned my ear for a long time now, but when he cleaned it for me, I felt like some relief.
It has been long that I used the cleaning instrument to clean my ear, so the time that I was tested, I felt all right.
The team led by Dr. Nuhu Manle Ma'an paid a courtesy visit on the community's traditional ruler, the Sumpiem of the Piem Kingdom, the Charles Mato Dakat. The royal father commended the medical officers for their initiatives. From Gindri, Rinred Silvanus Lot, NTAi News.
This is Nationwide. The news continues with Mina in Enugu after this break.
Youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
A new edition of TV Guide is out with special focus on the game changer, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Sule of Nasarawa State. Broadcasting in a digital economy, Maxwell Lobo gives an insight. This edition also features Nancy Naji of AIT, a name synonymous with business. Meet the NCDC boss, Dr. Chikwe Ihekweazu. TV Guide, your indispensable companion, also x-rays the relevance of social media in the modern society. Meet some TV professionals who have impacted their spaces and other inspiring stories in sports, entertainment, and lots more. Grab a copy at the vendor near you or NTAi stations nationwide. TV Guide, your indispensable companion.
The second wave of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic is upon us.
To safeguard lives of our people, government has signed the health protection regulations, which makes wearing a face mask mandatory in public places.
Wear a mask. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Wash your hands regularly with soap and clean water. And use hand sanitizer.
COVID-19 is real. Do not be infected. Do not spread it. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTAi.
Life is a game. We are cool. We are trendy. Energy moves us. Sports is our game, our oxygen. Because with the round leather, we ball. We hustle. All over the land, north and south, we are united in the positive glory. We are encapsulated by HIFL. We live for the game. It's game time.
Showing on NTAi Network every Saturday at 4:30 p.m.
Good evening and welcome to Enugu. Judicial officers of the Enugu State High Court have been trained on virtual hearing of court cases using information communications and technology ICT tools amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Priscilla Emehelu, who declared the training open, said with the online setting, court cases are progressed without the need for participants to attend the court. Chinewoe now reports.
The COVID-19 pandemic, no doubt, forced businesses and various sectors of the economy to be innovative. This has made these judicial officers to push through any personal aversion to technology, especially the video conferencing court sitting, which is a court hearing conducted by audio-visual. Chief Judge of Enugu State, who also participated in the training, noted that the state government has provided 5 high courts and 10 magistrates courts as pilot courts for the online sittings with the state-of-the-art ICT tools.
The ICT committee has therefore come up with guidelines and a roadmap to ensure that we achieve our stated goal.
Organizers of the training say they are working diligently to execute the terms of reference for virtual hearing in the court.
What my Lord the Chief Judge has done is to adopt the rules that makes it possible for courts to adopt virtual hearing in appropriate cases.
There is provision for a hybrid. Now, everything doesn't go virtual immediately. In some cases and in some areas, you still do the physical hearing system.
Just like the traditional court setting, participants at the online court setting, which includes a judge, a court registrar, a plaintiff counsel, a defendant counsel, a witness, and the host of the online court session, must be clearly identified and labeled in the session. The same etiquettes and protocols of a physical courtroom are also respected during online court sitting. Also, disrespectful and threatening behaviors could result in the removal of the person from the hearing and a contempt citation filed against the person. In Enugu, Chinewoe, NTAi News.
The National Assembly is to review the Pensions Act to ensure that pensioners in Nigeria are paid all their benefits promptly and regularly. The Chairman of the Senate Committee on Pensions and Public Service, Senator Ibrahim Shekarau, dropped the good news in a one-day interactive session with stakeholders of Pension Transitional Management Directorate and retired war-affected police officers from the South, South, and Southeast geopolitical zones. Again, Chinewoe reports.
Senator Shekarau, who was the former governor of Kano State, said he has passion for the elder statesmen who put in their energy to serve the country. The former school teacher said the federal government is also passionate about the senior citizens who have been receiving the same amount of money for more than 30 years.
And right now, we are working on another review. We have identified a couple of issues that need to be revisited and re-examined. I want to encourage the pensioners to always liaise with the leaders of their union to make things easy.
The Executive Secretary, Pension Transitional Management Directorate, Dr. Choma Ejikeme, said the retired war-affected police officers are senior citizens who took part with the defunct Biafran Republic during the Nigerian Civil War, but were dismissed in 1971 and were later granted amnesty 21 years ago. She further stated that the interactive session was to identify their areas of need and how to solve such problems.
So we have to go and interact with the relevant authorities to work out what decision is to be taken concerning them.
For PITA or enforcing authority to deem every officer who died before 2000 to have died on 2000 for the purposes of the amnesty.
The chairman of the war-affected police officers, Mr. Matthew Ude, pleaded with the federal government to include children of their members who died to be among the beneficiaries. In Enugu, Chineye Nwoye, NTAi News.
The security of schools in Nigeria has become an indispensable issue in this era of pervasive terrorism, with its attendant result in deaths of students, hampered academic system, and heightened tension amongst parents, to mention a few. It has become imperative to nip this new trend in the bud, as further escalation will do more harm to the already tense security situation in the country. Correspondent has more.
The recent spree of attacks on schools in the northwest Nigeria, leading to abductions of students, has been described as unfortunate and deserving of a state of emergency to nip the ugly trend in the bud.
If such a thing should happen to any school in Enugu State, the student, in fact, the parents won't allow their students to go to school any longer. We have fences around our school. We have the security people at the gate. They don't allow any child to leave the school before dismissal. That's the much we are doing now. We have the police number with us. If we have any challenge, we just intimate them and they will come.
Residents are of the view that urgent steps be taken by authorities in mounting modern security gadgets that will help secure Nigerian schools.
When government put in place the police post, it will help to checkmate the trooping in and out of paupers, even strangers that normally come to school.
A gross violation of children's rights and a horrific experience for children to go through, some say.
Any act of criminality on children, the Bible is so much against that. And I believe the Quran, too, does not take hand to that. As a result of that, we have trained our men specially on how to monitor and report on individuals and strangers within the communities, particularly around the schools that have boarding facilities, because they perpetrate this act mainly at nights. It's a nocturnal action.
These sustained brutal attacks on school children, health experts say, could have a long-lasting mental health challenge on children, even as they call for speedy arrest of the situation. In Enugu.
And that's our bait from Enugu nationwide. Now continues with Ayo in Abuja.
Thanks, Mina. The burden of flood and other environmental hazards borne by communities that constitute Hydroelectric Power Producing Areas Development Commission over the years may soon be over. This is sequel to the successful takeoff of the Commission's Governing Council inaugural meeting held in Mina, Niger State. Suleiman Kodogi reports.
Over the years, riverine communities hosting hydroelectric power dams in Nigeria have continued to grapple with challenges ranging from environmental degradation, displacement, and loss of source of livelihood to overflooding of River Niger and its tributaries. Since the establishment of Hydroelectric Power Producing Development Commission to, among other things, formulate policies to address recurring flooding in the host community, promote its physical development, and tackle problem of inadequate electricity supply, much has not been heard of its activities. The inaugural meeting of Governing Council of the Commission, however, brought a ray of hope to the affected communities spread across 7 states in the country. The Governing Council promised to justify the confidence reposed in them by laying a solid foundation that will ensure smooth takeoff of the Commission, as well as work assiduously to keep the memory of late Senator Dairo Awesukuta alive, who initiated the bill that saw to the emergence of Hyperdeck Bill in 2005.
We have been given the mandate to set up structures, assemble financial, human and material resources, and also partner with relevant international and local agencies towards redressing these cumulative challenges.
The need for integration and concern is believed will in no small way cushion the effect of the hardship being faced by the inhabitants.
The Governing Council members also pay homage on the Emir of Mina, Alhaji Umar Faruk Bago, to intimate the royal father on the Commission's blueprint. In Mina, Suleiman Kodogi, NTAi News.
It's time to cross over to Kaduna on Nationwide, where Salamatu is waiting with the latest reports from that axis. Hello, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Ayo Veji. Welcome to Kaduna. The vision of Kaduna State government turning one of the oldest towns, southern Kaduna, into a modern city is gradually becoming a reality as the Kafanchan project progresses. Muhammad Umar Ajingi reports that Ahmed El-Rufai was in Kafanchan for an on-the-spot assessment of the progress of work.
The changing face of Kafanchan, all roads with modern infrastructure, a major urban renewal project of the state government. Governor Nasru Ahmed El-Rufai wants contractors to hasten up on the project before the rain.
They have made significant progress with the earthworks. They will finish the earthworks before the rain sets so that they can proceed with surfacing and so on. They have done a lot of the drainage work, which is good, and everything seems to be going very well in Kafanchan.
Ajere in Kagarko local government area and Manchok in Kaura, Governor inspected ongoing construction of science secondary schools, reiterating the commitment of his administration to providing quality education. The governor says each of the 3 senatorial zones will be provided with 2 science secondary schools to enable children of the vulnerable to get access to quality education. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Majinki, NTAi News.
The National Drug Law Agency Kano State Command has employed a report strategy in its war against drug abuse. Yohannes Hassan Barrow reports that the command has in less than 24 hours intercepted 500 kilograms of psychotropic substances in the report.
Since his assumption into office, agency boss Brigadier General Buba promised to reposition the agency for an efficient fight against illicit drug trafficking in Nigeria. This is exactly what the command in Kano is doing to ensure the mission of the NDLEA chairman. During the operation, psychotropic substances have been confiscated alongside 32 drug users at different hideouts. 18-year-old Suleiman Sadiq is among those apprehended. Says he has been into drug for 3 years.
Whenever I take in drugs, I feel like above everybody, but I promise not to take it again.
In line with this new tempo and the hopes which Marwa has put in the minds of NDL officers over the country, the Kano command will not be an exception. We have always been keeping the tempo very high.
The narcotic officers, according to the commandant, will continue to fight the menace which has eaten deep into the social fabric of Nigeria, but however calls for concerted efforts between sister agencies, traditional rulers and religious leaders. It is expected that people like Suleiman, who is one out of the 15 million drug addicts in the country, will be rehabilitated. NTAi News.
Apologies as we have to discontinue with our Kaduna Network Center. Let's continue nationwide here in Abuja. Proper regulation of orthodox and alternative therapy by government will eliminate quacks and contribute in addressing the health needs of Nigeria. This was the observation by International Institute for Islamic Therapy at its 5th convocation in Abuja. Eliasu Olotu Yakubu reports.
The afflicted.
It is a call to the place of healing, ethics and honor. Each of these 32 graduates spent the last couple of months under the tutelage of the Institute researching alternative Islamic medical therapy with target to complement orthodox medical needs of humanity. Hawa Baba Barao is one of such interns, and today their individual projects are tested and certified products by relevant regulating agencies ready for consumption.
It deals not just about the physical body. It helps treat the physical, the spiritual, psychological, emotional issues that we are all facing.
Through our contacts, we meet different patients, different people. We carry on sensitization programs.
A reputable international TB institute with areas of interest such as clinical hijama, al-Shab Nabawi, and Tafsirul Ahlam, amongst others, enjoying rigorous training and research pursuits.
Our counsel to them is that they should observe the ethics of the healing practice. Number one, they should know their limits. They can't know everything. When it is time to reach out to the practitioner of orthodox medicine, they shouldn't hesitate to direct their patient there.
There was medication before the conventional means of medication. Islamic therapy for the Muslims is something that is very unique. And today, taking it to this level is something that actually can do a lot of good.
Some of them have shown that present issue of pandemic can be addressed through prophetic medicine.
Experts say in the last 4 years, over 600 practitioners has emerged from productive research with effective healing for both psychological and spiritual ailments bedeviling mankind. Iliasu Noto Yakubu, NTAi News.
Ahead of the 2021 International Women's Day, the Christian Aid Nigeria is advocating equal opportunity and rights for women and girls. Ngozi Silva, Technique reports.
In addition to the impact of COVID-19, Nigeria is grappling with security challenges, displacing many from their places of abode. Women and children are said to be mostly affected during this crisis. 55% of women are said to be caregivers who suffer from one form of violence or another, just as they are said to be excluded in religious and traditional decisions that may affect them. These and more are why Charles Usei and his colleagues are advocating a change.
And will encourage my culture, will encourage my local government to give women opportunity to own properties and to own lands, wherever it may be. But if you're a father, if you're a brother, if you're a husband, take action and ensure that any girl or child you know within your vicinity goes to school and is empowered to live.
An organization. But when we get everybody talking about it, community members, religious leaders, people in the political space, we will see that there's a movement, what we call a movement for change around gender justice.
A little more commitment from leaders and lawmakers to create enabling environments for the participation of more women in governance and other fields is what this briefing is seeking as the world marks International Women's Day next Monday. Ngozi Silva, Technique, NTAi News.
And now to a bit of sports. Israel Adesanya has vowed to bounce back after he suffered defeat in the hands of Jan Blachowicz at UFC 259 in Las Vegas. The 31-year-old mixed martial artist was aiming to become the 5th champ in UFC history and was impressive in the first 3 rounds against his opponent. However, Blachowicz bounced back to outwork the Nigerian and secure 49-46 and 49-45 points on the judges' cards for a unanimous decision. Blachowicz emerged the light heavyweight champion last year September after 6 years in UFC as he famously celebrated his latest victory. Adesanya, who is the UFC middleweight champion, had not lost in the octagon since he started his professional career in 2012 and could have been a two-division champion had he defeated the 38-year-old Pole, who retained his light heavyweight title. The Supreme Court of Nigeria has announced the death of Justice Nwale Sylvester Nguta, who died early Sunday morning. The late Justice Sylvester Nguta, who was due to retire from the Supreme Court bench on attaining mandatory retirement age of 70 years on March 30, 2021, fell sick and was admitted at the National Hospital Abuja on Friday, the 5th of March. A statement by the Chief Registrar of the Supreme Court, Hadizatu Wani Mustafa, said his remains has since been deposited at the National Hospital mortuary pending the arrangements for his burial. And that's nationwide on the NTAi. Remember to connect with the NTAi to stand against rape and rapists to be a star. I'm Ayo Deji Makinde. Good evening.